All right, so we're diving into the story of Noah's Ark this time.
Good.
But it's interesting that the material you gave me, it's really not the Sunday school version.
Right.
It's not all about the animals going two by two and all that.
Yeah.
You're really looking at like the human experience of this whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get bogged down by the scale of it.
Yeah.
A global flood, this massive ark,
Right.
all these animals.
It's overwhelming.
But the material you've pulled really brings it down to the internal journey,
Right.
the psychology of Noah and his family.
Yeah. Can you imagine 370 days
Yeah.
on this ark?
It's a long time.
I mean, talk about not just riding out the waves,
Right.
but the rain
It's relentless.
and being stuck there with everybody in these close quarters.
Yeah.
And just this feeling of no escape.
And water as far as the eye can see.
Makes you wonder what kind of faith he had to have to get through all that.
Right, because it wasn't just like, oh, here's your marching orders, go do this.
No.
You highlighted some spots in the text where he's like questioning God,
Yeah,
challenging him even.
there's that one line I love where he says, "My Lord, how long will this last?
Oh, yeah.
Where are you in all this darkness?"
It's intense.
It's raw,
right.
honest doubt.
And that kind of throws a wrench into the whole,
Totally.
obedient servant kind of image of Noah, right?
Exactly.
Like he was chosen by God,
Yeah.
but he's not just accepting this.
Right.
He's struggling, he's got questions, maybe even feeling a little abandoned,
And isn't that so much more relatable?
Of course.
This isn't some superhuman figure.
Right. And one of the sources pointed out how in like the Babylonian myths,
Oh, okay.
the flood heroes, they're like these demigods,
Uh-huh.
almost untouchable.
Right.
But Noah,
Yeah.
he's human.
He's one of us.
Totally. And it's
Yeah.
interesting, too, how that human element,
Yeah.
is what makes this story still connect with people
Totally.
thousands of years after it was told.
Yeah, you don't have to be facing an actual flood
Right.
to feel that kind of like isolation, that need for answers,
Oh, totally. And the different ways it's been interpreted
Right.
over time really shows.
You've got some material here referencing like Renaissance paintings
Yeah.
where Noah's almost like, at peace.
Serene.
Yeah.
Like he knows something we don't.
Exactly. And then you've got like 20th century literature
Right.
where he's like this existential hero.
Battling the absurdity of it all.
Yeah, exactly.
And each one kind of reflects the anxieties of that time period.
Absolutely.
But it always comes back to that experience of waiting.
The waiting.
Waiting
Yeah.
for answers, waiting for relief, waiting for some sign that things will get better.
And I think that's something everyone can relate to.
Totally.
Whether it's waiting on like a medical diagnosis
Yeah.
or if a relationship's going to work out.
Sure.
Or even just waiting for your kid to clean their room,
Oh, yeah.
It's like that holding pattern just gets to you.
It's like this pressure cooker,
Totally.
anticipation, doubt, and hope all mixed together.
Yeah.
And what's fascinating is the text doesn't shy away from that.
No, it doesn't.
Even Noah feels that pressure.
And, one of the sources you shared had pointed out this really interesting thing about the raven and the dove.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
Okay, so he sends out the raven first, right, to search for land.
Right.
And it never comes back.
Okay.
Then he sends the dove.
Yeah.
And it comes back with the olive branch.
Right. The symbol of hope.
Exactly.
New beginnings.
So, like, some scholars see that as Noah having to learn patience.
Okay.
Like, sometimes even in the waiting,
Yeah.
you have to be careful about what signs you're looking for.
Oh, that's good.
Because the raven, that could be like those doubts,
Right. Those impulses to just give up.
Yeah, exactly. And then the dove, that's like that persistent hope.
Okay. I like that.
So it's not enough to just be waiting.
No, you've got to be.
You have to be actively looking for those signs of hope.
Yeah. And notice how Noah doesn't just sit there.
Right?
He's building the ark. He gathers the animals.
He's doing the work.
Even while he's on board, he's sending out those birds, like testing the waters, so to speak.
He's grabbing the wheel when he can.
Exactly. There's action in his faith.
I love that.
It's not passive.
Now, did any of the stuff you found talk about how his family's handling all this?
Oh, that's a great point.
Because being stuck on a boat for a year, even with people you love,
I mean, can you imagine?
that'd be interesting.
It adds another layer to the story, for sure.
Totally.
One of the sources, it was a commentary on Genesis.
Okay.
It really focuses on Noah's wife.
Interesting.
Because in the actual text,
She's kind of silent, right?
yeah, she doesn't get a name or much of a voice.
Right.
But this commentary, imagines her inner world.
Oh,
The fears and frustrations she must be dealing with.
now that's something I bet most people don't think about.
It's easy to focus on Noah.
It's Noah's story, right?
But she didn't choose this,
Right.
and her kids didn't choose this.
Exactly. This was thrust on them, too.
And the source I read, it suggests that maybe
Okay.
she represents that silent burden a lot of women have carried throughout history.
Oh.
Their strength and resilience kind of overlooked.
In these big stories. So
Yeah.
it's like a story within a story then.
It is.
It's not just the guy who built the boat.
Right.
It's about the family.
And their fate.
Yeah, and how they all got through this together.
Each facing their own challenges
Yeah.
and changing because of it.
It's like we zoomed in from this like huge, almost mythical flood to the actual people on this boat
Right. And to me,
and their experience.
that's why we still care about this story.
Yeah, thousands of years later.
It's not just ancient history.
Exactly. So, okay, the floodwaters go down. They finally see land again.
Right.
What's that like for them? What are they stepping into?
It's like being a pioneer, right?
Totally, a whole new world.
One of the articles you sent compared it to
Okay.
like the first Mars colonists.
Oh, wow.
That idea of starting over in
Yeah.
a totally new place.
Nothing familiar.
No landmark.
Nobody else around.
Nobody.
Nobody.
That's got to be daunting rebuilding from nothing like that.
Oh, absolutely. And the source material really hits on that feeling of how huge it all is.
It's not just physical rebuilding either,
Yeah,
right?
It's emotional.
It's spiritual.
They saw the whole world destroyed.
Yeah. How do you even process that? Exactly. And you see this reflected
Okay.
in how the story is told in modern times.
Yeah, you said different eras find different meanings in it.
Right. Like there's this essay
Okay.
that says the flood is like what climate refugees are going through now.
Oh, wow.
Losing your home, your whole way of life.
It's more relevant than ever, unfortunately.
Sadly. Yeah. With the sea levels rising and all that.
And then there was that other article.
Yeah.
It was fiction, but
Right. The one about grief.
yeah, it used the ark as a metaphor for grief.
Like the flood is some big loss in your life.
Right. And the ark is that place where you're alone with it
You got to deal with the pain, the anger, all of it.
before you can even think about moving on.
Powerful stuff.
So we've gone from this global flood to climate change,
Mhm.
to personal grief.
It's amazing.
One story, so many layers, but what ties it all together?
What's the takeaway for somebody listening who might be going through their own version of this right
Mhm.
now?
Exactly.
I think it's about resilience.
Yeah, okay.
Finding that strength to keep going.
Even when everything's a mess.
Yeah, even when you feel like giving up.
You know that one source you had,
Yeah.
the personal one,
Oh, yeah.
about the divorce?
Right. They've found comfort in the story.
Yeah, it gave them a new way to look at it.
They said it made them realize
Go on.
that just like Noah built the ark piece by piece,
Right.
they could rebuild their life day by day.
And even though they couldn't control the divorce itself,
Right.
they could control how they reacted to it.
Their own choices.
Their own little arc.
Exactly. And that even though things were different,
Yeah.
there was still good to be found.
I love that. And it's so hopeful, right?
It is. We all face storms in life.
Big and small.
But Noah's story reminds us we can get through them.
And not just survive them, right?
Right.
But come out different
Stronger.
and, maybe even end up in a
Right.
place you never thought you'd be,
A better place.
a place full of new possibilities.
Exactly.
So to wrap up this deep dive into Noah's Ark, think about this.
Okay.
What are the storms in your life
Yeah.
and what's your arc?
How are you weathering the storm?
Because just like Noah,
You've got this.
you've got the strength, the hope, and yeah, even the faith
To get through it.
and come out ready for whatever's next.
A new horizon.
Exactly. Thanks for diving deep with us.